And this evening, we're just going to talk about how you can support learning over the distance learning part of the course. The kids are all doing very well in the intensive typing section. Kate, you've been at it every step of the way, so you probably know what's going on in your rooms far better than I do, actually. But I'm going to go through quite a lot of slides, but the ones that I'm going to go through with the children tomorrow, I won't spend so much time on. One, because they'll know a lot of it, but two, I will record it then. And I'd rather talk this evening about the stuff that the children don't know and can't tell you about. So I'm going to cover tonight the typing practice. We'll look at what's involved and prizes, then learning about technology, what's involved, and how I communicate with you and the students over this time period. And I feel the need to check I am recording. Yes, I am. Stop recording. That's good, because I know there's a lot of people not here. So that's what we're going to cover this evening. But as I say, I'll go over the stuff that in slower that we won't talk about in the lesson tomorrow. So as I would always expect, there's a huge variation of ability on the course that's running now, but there is nobody that I'm overly concerned about. And anyone I am concerned about, I've already spoken to the parents. So everyone's doing fine. And let's just talk about touch typing first. I'm going to help you understand how you improve your typing skills, what students should be doing each day once this part of the course is over, rewards and prizes, and barriers to success. So I just wanted to explain that for children, it takes about 20 hours to become a proficient typist. Now, that's a huge generalization. A 16-year-old on the whole would take less time. A 9-year-old would take more time. But 20 hours is what I'm hoping to get the children to do over the next 7 weeks. Now, it does depend on time. I started off teaching touch typing just with half an hour or an hour a week. And I wondered why the children weren't becoming proficient. And it's just not enough to build the muscle memory for children. It's much better to practice for 20 hours over 8 weeks or 7 weeks in this case. I find that to be highly effective. And so this is what we do. Daily practice for 20 minutes a day is around 12 hours. And the supervised course, you get 8 hours of typing in that. So I'm hoping that the children will do about 20 hours over 7 weeks. If they just do this intensive course and then they don't practice anymore, they will forget how to type and you'll be paying for another intensive course. And one of the reasons why I do it the way I do is too many people were coming on my intensive courses, and this was the 4th or 5th one they'd done. They hadn't been my courses, but they'd done them many times. And so they might do one in February half term and then not do any typing, then do another one in May half term. And that's it's just a waste of money, and it's a waste of their effort, because it's always the first bit is the really hard bit, and then maintaining and embedding the muscle memory is not so hard. So it's really worth keeping going till the end of the summer holidays. Then they go back to school and they have to type to do their homework, and then they will always be able to type. So how to improve? The students need to practice daily, and they're not beyond stopping to getting in this claw position with their fingers on the F and the J key, or the bobbly bits. And so as parents, if you can touch type, it's great if you can say, oh, don't forget to do it right. Don't go into bad habits once you're not being supervised all the time. I know a lot of people go away on holiday and they don't want to take the big blind keyboard. You've got enough stickers that you could convert any sort of small keyboard. And I bought one for a family today for, I think it was $13.99 from Amazon, just a really small keyboard, but they're always Bluetooth. They don't tend to be USB. And then you can just use the stickers on that. Or if all else fails, I have put a video in the chat. I think it was this parent chat, but I can put it in here again. of an idea for if you're just taking one keyboard away and you don't want it to be a blind keyboard, how for just the holidays you can convert it into a blind keyboard. It's a very cheap and cheerful way of doing it. It's not great for the whole holiday, but it's fine for a short holiday. So if you want that, ask me and I will send you the video of how to do it. Big thing that children need to do is they have to work out where they are weak. And I'm going to show you how I do that with them. They're going to do that a lot tomorrow. It's important they do lessons every day. Some children just want to do games. They just want to do time tests, but they need to do lessons as well. But I always advise all of them to find something that they enjoy typing, because they've got to enjoy it. I mean, enjoy is a strong word, but they've got to not hate it. So just doing lessons is too dry. Just doing what they're not good at is too dry. It's good to find something they enjoy. And competition is a great way. When they start competing against one another, they start to really enjoy it. And they're really, really glad that they learned to touch type once they can start competing. And I measure the students' progress really regularly with time tests. And while touch typing isn't a pleasant thing to learn, once you practice, you do actually improve really quickly, and the children get very encouraged from that, and it motivates them to keep on practicing. I will have webinars every Monday evening, and you don't have to attend. They're always recorded, but the students that can attend tend to be the ones that get caught up in the group dynamic and want to win prizes and tend to do better. That tends to be what happens. But if you can't attend, it doesn't matter. I don't want it to be burdensome through the holidays. I want it to be something that helps you, because it motivates the children to type and you not have to nag them. If you cannot touch type, or if your child will not accept your help, I'm very happy to pass on the numbers of the teachers that help me. I don't use them at all, or hardly at all, over the summer. So if you just want to contact them and get them to do one-on-one Zoom sessions with your children, I have nothing to do with it. You just do it with them. But some parents do that, and they're really grateful that they do it, and it really works. Because the children won't accept their help. So just get in touch with me if you want to do that. I will give you this chart or worksheet, which spells out everything that the children need to do every day. On the whole, most children don't tend to do it, but it's a good reminder, do lessons on typing.com, then do games, then do your problem keys, then do a time test. And when they've ticked all of them, then that's everything they need to do for the day. So it's a little age memoir I do. I'm not going to collect them in. It doesn't matter if they don't do them, but it's also good for you to see that's what I'm expecting the children to do each day. This is typing.com. So the first thing that I said here was doing lessons on typing.com. And this is the fast track of the lessons on typing.com. Children do not need to do the fast track, but a lot of them felt that it was too boring to do every lesson. So I cherry picked the best lessons for the fast track. Children will know how to use this. We'll be going over this a lot tomorrow. They started it today, so they'll be very familiar with it by the time they come home, or by the time they finish. This is the sheet they can fill in for each day, just to see how many stars they got for each of the lessons. And this is the lesson number, and this is the lesson number here. But the children will all know that. And the younger children just do every lesson. It's fine. They don't have to do the fast track. So it's really important that they find something that they enjoy. And we've already looked at all of these games. We did those yesterday. We did these games today. I pointed out stories to them today, and there's something that's not quite a game. Some children really don't like games. They find the pressure of the time constraint that is too much, and they much prefer to read stories and do the keys are falling game. So I think it's really important that they find things they enjoy. If they've got a book they love, they can just type out pages from the book. And something that's quite good for doing that is having a stand like this that you can put a book on, and you can have it up high, and they can touch type while looking at that. And that tends to be a little bit easier. So if anyone else has any other ideas for stuff that children might enjoy typing, or if you find different games, share them, let us all know, because yeah, I'm always looking for new games. So this is where you find the reinforcement. This is a game, the keys are falling. This is where you find stories. So you just go down till you see stories, and that's where you find it. And this is where we have problem keys. And what typing.com does is every time they practice, they work out which keys children are getting wrong, and then they will give them exercises with just those problem keys. And they're not the children's favorite exercise, but I do say if you do them, then you tend to improve, and that's when you tend to win the prizes, be it prizes from me or prizes parents say, if you get to so many words per minute, we'll give you this prize, or if you practice this much, we'll give you this gift, prize, whatever. So problem keys are very good. And there are two different types of time test. There is a 1 minute time test, which is what I would love every child to do. And I want them all to be able to do that by the end of 8 weeks. But when you do that, it doesn't give you any help at the bottom of the screen like this. And the children, some of them find that way too difficult. So for younger children, I say just do a beginner's assessment, but try to do a typing test, because at first it just is too difficult, but over time it becomes easier and easier. So I recommend that every day children do both. And the older ones just only want to do a typing test, or the better typists just want to do a typing test. But I say, well, do a beginner's assessment as well. Otherwise, they're at an unfair disadvantage when it comes to who's progressed the most. Because the way I calculate it, the people that are more likely to win, who progress the most, are the people that started off finding it very difficult, because it's always a percentage increase. And so if they start off on a low base, they tend to do better. So I'm trying to encourage the fast typists to also see progress improving substantially. So that's where you find them, but the children will know all this tomorrow. And what Nessie does provide me with are these lovely progress graphs. So this is the speed, and this is an accuracy. And these are, in fact, I regularly send them to students, but I do tell parents how things are progressing. So when I see a lovely graph, I tend to cut and paste it and send it to them and say, look, you're doing really well. And I never worry if they plateau. This is a particularly good graph that the trend is going up. They do tend to plateau, go down, go up. So don't worry about it. As long as the trend is up, it's very good. Now, I do warn at the setup meeting, do not let anyone else do a typing test on the student's account. Because it really throws me. And I think it happened again this week. I thought a child was a much better typist than they were, and I put them up to a group that they weren't capable of being in. So it's really, I look all the time at how the children are progressing, and I decide where to place them and what to do with them dependent on that. And competition is good. I think it's great to compete against your mum, your dad, your brothers, your friends, but everyone can have their own account. We don't have to do it on one account. It's completely free to set up. Your children have a paid account, but you can do the tests on a free account. You don't even have to log in. So I do send out reports every week of how much people have practiced and how much they've progressed. And here I've taken the names out. When I send them to the parents, I send them with the names in, and this is very, very different to how schools are. But I hated the way schools were with my children. I had no idea how much my children were struggling, because every time I had a parent-teachers meeting, they would just tell me how they changed since last time, and they would never give me any point of comparison. But my children in class every day knew that they were behind other people and they weren't doing so well. And it would have been actually really helpful for me to know that, because if somebody's practicing a lot and they're not progressing as much as somebody else, they need more encouragement, they need more rewards, because it's discouraging. And I think it's good to see what the children are seeing all the time. Now, I don't share this with the children, but children aren't stupid. They know that, oh, I'm not doing as good as that. So I think it's good if parents understand what's really going on. So these are the sort of reports that I send. And when it comes, this is basically saying, this was the first base speed. This is the speed on the 17th. This is the base accuracy. This is the accuracy on the 17th. So the speed had increased by 467%, the accuracy by this much. And then where it makes no sense is I add them both up. But the reason I do that is I say to the children, I don't want your speed going up and the accuracy going down. So I add them both up to work out who's progressed the most. So not great from a mathematician's point of view, but it stops the children going after speed and forgoing accuracy. So typically what I would want the children to do every day is 10 minutes of lessons, 3 minutes of problem keys, 5 minutes of games, and 2 minutes of 1 minute time tests. And I've set the typing.com goal to be 15 minutes because games do not get counted in the actual time that typing.com calculates. And if they just log into typing.com and then chat to their friends or look at a YouTube video or play a game, typing.com doesn't record that they're doing any typing. It only records typing when they're actually typing. So they work that out pretty quickly because they say, but miss, I was on it for hours. And I'll say, yeah, but it only actually records when you're typing. And I think even then it's quite strict, in all honesty. And so this is just how it all comes together. The fact that this didn't build up, but here we see the lessons, the games, and then the typing tests. And I will be going over this in great detail with your children tomorrow. Where to see results? On typing.com at the top, you see you can go in here and it will give you results. And it probably is worth my while showing you this because there's something here that I don't show the children that I'm very happy to show parents. So let me do this now. I'll just go into typing.com and I want to go in as a student. So let's see, slash student login. Where are you, student login? There we go. You can still see this, can't you? You can see the student login. Yes, brilliant, thank you. So we're going here and we go here. And I'm going in as me, which is not a real account because I haven't been doing typing practice. But I say my stats for all time is I've done, I don't know if that's 30 minutes, 97% accuracy, 31 words per minute. Just for the last 7 days, how does it change? It's not very much. For today, so if you move this, it will tell you how much time you've spent in that period and what your average speed and your accuracy were. And here is the daily goal, and your children's are all set at 15 minutes. And this is what I don't show the children. And it's amazing how they don't tend to find it. But this class scoreboard starts all the time and you're not going to see anything because I'm not in a class. So I'm the winner, but here it'll get first, second, third, and it will talk about accuracy and speed and, and then who's been the most active. So that refreshes at midnight every Sunday night. So I don't really want the children looking at it. It's great if you're in the top 3, but it's really discouraging if you're not. So I don't tend to show them that. But if you as a parent want to see that, if towards the end of the week, you just pop in there and have a look when they're signed in and they're not around, then you can do that. So let me get back to the slides. I try to help students set individual goals. I do think it's good for them to have something to work towards, because if you aim at nothing, then you're not going to achieve it. I've got them all to do a handwriting test. They all know their handwriting speed. I know their handwriting speed. And I've said your first goal is to type as fast as you can write. And then your second goal is to try and type twice as fast as you can write. And it's really hard if people have a really high handwriting speed, and there's nobody on this that's got a really high handwriting speed. But I say, as long as you can type as fast as you can write, the benefits of typing are there, because there's so many benefits of typing. And I did actually show your children a lot of the benefits today. So I hope they were able to verbalize some of them to you, because the more they verbalize it, the more they're remembering, and the more likely they're going to carry on remembering and use all these different things in the next academic year. So I don't want this to be something that I entertain them with. I want this to be a way that they change how they work. And that's where you understanding this technology is really helpful as well, because you can remind them. So communications, I tend to use WhatsApp. I have a parents WhatsApp group and I have a students WhatsApp group, as long as the students have a mobile phone. And obviously some of the students are too young for a mobile phone, in which case I'm more likely to WhatsApp their parent and say, oh, they've done really well, and just give you the information that I would have given them. I might not do it quite so often. I do tend to contact the students quite often, and it might just be a reminder. It might be, you know, I noticed you haven't practiced for the last couple of days, try to remember today, or I see that you just got a fantastic personal best, well done, or I see that you're struggling with a particular exercise, why don't you try this? So that's what I use the WhatsApp groups for, and they are really effective. But I do want to say I'd love to work with you as a team. If your child is discouraged, if your child is unhappy for any reason, let me know and I will do my best to encourage them. I really hope that by the end of this, all the children will feel a lot better about themselves, that they'll have more confidence, that they're bright, that they can achieve. It's just the schools tend to teach in a way that doesn't suit them. And so this is just a couple of examples of things that happened this week. Well, a parent got in touch and said, you know, my child was discouraged after the progress webinar. She wasn't complaining. She was just saying that's the way he is, because you know he wasn't on the top 3, therefore he was discouraged. So I made sure that I sent him something, and I can't remember which one it was, but one parent said, no, this is a child. Oh no, these are different things. Parents have told me stuff, and I, as a result, change things. I change the group they're in. I send them encouraging emails. So this, I kind of encouraging message, and this child said, thank you for the compliment. You for boosted my confidence and made me feel good about myself. And then another mum told me that he came down, he was really chuffed and his whole face lit up. If I can do that for your child, I am really, really happy to. And I try to stay on top, and I try to do these things without parents prompting me. But you know when your child's on a down, you know when they're not wanting to do the practice. If you tell me, I will do my best to make sure I find something I can encourage them for, and just give them a bit of a boost. So let's work as a team. Feel fine about telling me when they're low, when they don't want to practice, and I'll do my best to help you. So rewards and prizes, I give them on a Monday. I can only see practice that happens in typing.com, because the reporting in typing.com is brilliant. It doesn't include games. I give the person that's practiced the most and the person that's progressed the most. And that really helps them all want to practice more and progress more. They're only small prizes. They're not going to, you know, they're £5 Amazon vouchers. But I know that as parents, you know your kids' hot buttons. And so you can independently say, if you practice this much, or if you get to this speed and accuracy, then you can have this game or a day out to this place. And I really do encourage that. And I'm happy to discuss realistic, achievable goals with you. If you say, well, what should I say that they should be able to do by this time? I'll help you come up with something that's very achievable that they can do. And then I show this to the children to say, when I'm working out, which is the highest score here, what I do is, I've already told you, I add the words per minute in accuracy. Therefore, this is the highest score. Whereas the children tend to just look at speed and they think this is the highest score. But I point out, no, I add the 2, and it's through adding the 2 that I work out. And if anybody wants one, and this is particularly good if your child isn't able to type in the exams at the moment, they get a nice certificate, and then that certificate will say what their handwriting speed is and what their typing speed is. So if you're having to negotiate with the school to provide evidence that your child can type in exams, this will help provide some evidence. So what stops students from practicing? I think a big one is they forget. I think they get fed up, and sometimes they have technical issues. So I just want to talk you through each of these. When students forget, I try to stop that by sending them WhatsApps to remind them. The webinars help to remind them. Sending their parents activity reports and showing them activity reports really removes any excuse. So some kids go, I didn't have time to practice. But when they see that other people that are the same age as them, on the same course of them, has done loads of practice, it kind of removes all the excuses. So that's pretty good. That's why I share. I don't share the whole thing. I don't try to shame anybody, but I show the top half that shows all the people that have done really, really well. And with practice being boring, that's why I do the fast track, so they don't have to do every lesson if they're finding it too boring. That's why I explore games to sort of make it more bearable. But I do think the biggest thing that helps students is seeing the progress that they make and seeing the benefits of typing as they learn more about the technology they can use. They get really excited that, oh my goodness, I'm going to find homework so much easier when I go back. And the prizes do help, you know, they do tend to want to win the prizes. So did I go through? Oh, right. If you have any technical issues, I'm like the fourth emergency service through the summer holidays. Feel free to WhatsApp me and say, we can't get in, or whatever's going on, you know, I will do my best. I can't say I will turn it around within an hour because I don't know what I'm doing, but on the whole, I can sort out most things pretty quickly. So don't wait for the next Monday, just WhatsApp me and I'll try to sort out any technical issues. The biggest one tends to be they forgot the password, or they forgot, you know, something really simple, and I can normally sort it out pretty quickly. So that's all the typing, the technologies. I do tell children all the time that the goal of this course is not that they type fast, it's that they learn how to get better grades at school. And typing is one of the skills that's going to help them. But if you can just type faster, that's not going to be enough. You've got to learn how to use that typing skill to then access all these different learning technologies. So that's what a lot of the distance learning is about. And these are the subjects that we will be covering: reading for pleasure, reading to learn, essay writing, taking notes, getting organized. They're all things that we're going to cover. And how relevant this is for you does depend very much on your child's age and whether they have special educational needs and their technical ability. So what tends to happen is the children on the whole, not always, find the technology really easy to learn, but when they get back to school, they forget to use it. When they're under pressure to finish some homework and they don't know what to do and they're feeling really like miserable about it, they just go back to doing what they've always done and they don't think to use technology. And it's then that parents need to say, remember, you learned this, why don't you try it? So that's why I think it's really important that parents understand all this stuff as well. But if you're working and you're looking after children and you just don't have the headspace, don't beat yourself up. I will provide all the videos and you can always go back and watch them when it is applicable for your child. It's just, I want you to have an awareness. There are technologies that will help in lots of different areas, and I'll know which one to go back and watch the video when my child needs it. But the more you know, the easier you'll find it to help your child use the technology. So each week, we don't start until the first week of August, but we have a topic each week, and I will send this slide out so you can see it, but I don't do any new topics really at the end because a lot of people go away and they miss the odd week. So I want to have that last week to have a revision for the whole course, and that way you go back to school remembering, oh yeah, I've learnt this and I've learnt this and I've learnt this. I don't want them to go back to school only knowing what we did the last week. So the last week is all about revision of everything we've learnt. Now, that doesn't mean they do an exam, but we go back over everything that we've learnt. And if you have children that don't have special needs, then almost everything we look at is applicable for everyone, except some of this. They don't need to know about dyslexia-friendly fonts, and you can only get electronic textbooks if you have a reading impairment, as opposed to, anybody can use it. And in exams, you can only get access arrangements of being a laptop user and having a computer reader in exams if you have a learning difficulty. But everything else we do is really applicable for people or students that are neurotypical. And so this is how I'm doing it. I'm doing an intensive type. Did an intensive typing week last week. I do an intensive typing week this week, and I do an intensive typing week the week after. I was going to stop then and just do distance learning, but I've needed to do another one this week because we just couldn't get everybody in the 3 weeks. And then we start looking at reading for pleasure. So I wait until I've got everybody on, and then we start reading for pleasure. So these first weeks are just about getting better at typing. And I always recommend the younger children try to start as early as possible. And these later this one here is really for older students that don't need as long to embed the muscle memory. So they're the summer holidays. Monday's webinars. The first 3 weeks will just be typing practice. For you, it's the first 2 weeks. That's when I reward the students. And then once the technology starts, on the Monday, I check them. I send out videos on the Tuesday, and on the Monday, I check their understanding of the video. We talk about what was in the video. I use videos because I've got such a wide age range that for some children, they just watch the video. It's obvious, it's easy. But for younger children, they might need to watch it with parents. It might go over their heads. It might be more for the parents. So that's why I do it using videos. But on the Monday, it's an opportunity to ask questions. And I do Kahoot quizzes with the children, which they tend to love. And parents are welcome to help with the Kahoot quizzes. So that's Monday's webinars. On Tuesdays, I always send out an email to parents to tell you the progress, who won the prizes, and that's when I give you the videos for the week. And sometimes I even give a little task for the week. Very, very few people do the tasks. Don't beat yourselves up if you don't do them, but they're just there to deepen understanding. And some parents are really grateful for them. Most just don't have the headspace all the time to help their children do it, but I provide them just in case. The exact, do you know what? That should have popped up on the last slide. When it comes to the Monday webinar, I will end up having an earlier and later webinar because I want to split the children that are struggling with those that are finding it easy. I think it's very hard to learn if you're struggling around people that are finding it easy. So I will at some point think, okay, let's have 2 different times. So it might be 5 to 6 for those that are struggling. It tends to be earlier because it tends to be the younger children, and 6 till 7. And I pick the early evening because if you've gone out in the day, you normally sort of come home for dinner. And if you're going out in the evening, you tend to do it after that time. And if you have siblings and you want them all to do the same one, then I would recommend the more able go in with the less able. I think it's much easier to be the best person in the group than it is to feel like, well, everyone's so much better than me. I don't think that's very helpful. So this would be a typical week. On Monday, I don't count the typing on a Monday because I do the cutoff on a Sunday. I calculate the prizes Monday morning. So Monday's a great day to watch the videos, remind themselves what they've learned they actually get the videos on the Tuesday, but they know that we're going to talk about it on Monday. And then every other day, just trying to do 20 minutes typing and watch one of the videos if you can. Sunday, I always send something around saying, remember, I cut off for the prizes tonight. This is your last chance to win. And people tend to do quite a lot of typing on Sunday, sort of making up if they've missed days. If students, I always make out they have to do 20 minutes a day, every day. And I never, ever say anything different. But obviously life happens, holidays happen. I never really give anybody a hard time if they don't do it, but I think it's better if they think they have to. Yes, I know your name is not James, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Sharon. Just a question. Watch videos. Did I miss? Are they going to be sent out sort of the week on the Monday for next
On the
week?
Tuesday. When I send this parent report, I'll
Okay.
send out some new videos.
Okay.
And the first week I do it, I actually send out videos for parents and videos for children and parents. And that's the only time I do one for parents, because I think I made a real mistake with that. So I tried to warn parents of a mistake I made. But yeah, very often I start the Monday webinar and I'll say, who's watched the videos? And it's like, nah, nah, nah. Yeah, it's like the odd child that has. So, you know, they're not going to get into trouble. They'll get more out of it if they have watched the videos. They'll get more out of it if they've done the tasks. But I'm trying to be realistic. You're on holiday. It's not going to be the end of the world, but they're there if you want to do them. And as somebody whose kids have come through this at the other end, it's everything I wish I'd known. And so I'm just trying to pass it on. And it just seems like an easy way to do it. So we do these Kahoots. The kids love them. They don't get any prizes, but I really do encourage parents to help out, because if you're 9 or 7 even, and you're up against 14, 15 and 16-year-olds, it's not really fair. So I always say parents can get involved in the Kahoot, no problem at all. And I tend to have funny answers in and silly, you know, like I put in things that they'll say wrong. So it's a learning opportunity to say, I thought you'd say that, but that's not the right answer. This is the right answer. So, and this is why I do the tasks. It's just going to embed it if they actually use it. But if they don't, no one's going to get into trouble. And this is what a task might look like, sort of things I ask them to do. But I really, really don't worry if you don't do them. So that's everything I was going to cover. I will stop the screen share. Do you have any? I'm just going to put my fan on because I'm so hot. I will stop. Oh, I'll keep on. Well, no, I'll switch off for the questions, the recording. So let me just switch off the recording. Yes. So I think I've stopped. Are you sure you want to stop recording?